Welcome to Transparent Convos, where we are hot, honest, open, and truth. Today, I have two beautiful, amazing guests that's going to be sharing their journey through SHEpause. SHEpause, what is SHEpause? SHEpause is our version of menopause. I took away men and added she, because in my opinion, men do not know our bodies like we do. So with that being said, if there's anything that you will hear today on today's message that will add value to you, that will help encourage you, motivate you, confirm things that you already know, click the like button, subscribe, so when I add new content, guess what? You'll be the first to know. Share with others. There are other women who probably need to hear what we're going to share, because remember, on this channel, we are honest, open, and we're going to tell the truth. We're very transparent. We ain't leaving nothing out. Without further ado, let me introduce my two hot guests.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
Hello. We're fine.
Well, y'all see my beautiful hot ladies. So, introduce yourself, your name, your age, if you have any kids, and your relationship status.
My name is SHEpause Bridges. I am 51 years old. I have 3 young adult daughters, and I've been married for 26 years.
Oh, come on, 26. Wonderful, ma'am.
My name is Chandra Miller. I am 53 years old. I have one son. He is 25 years old. And I am currently have my beau. We've been together almost 3 years. So, yes.
Wowzer.
Yes. And I
Okay,
thank
ladies,
you.
y'all
Yes.
ready? You say again?
3 years.
Wowzer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Down there.
Yeah, we're going down our path. Our path is changing. I'm gonna say that, but that's a whole nother podcast. So we're gonna leave that there. But yeah,
We're going to invite me back for that
We're
one.
going to do
let's come back for that. That's another one. But yeah.
the old school with the new school.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, ladies, y'all ready?
Yes.
We're going to be hot, honest, open, true,
Mm-hmm.
and is okay. Miss Shatara,
Yes, ma'am.
are you currently experiencing menopause or are you in perimenopause?
Menopause.
You're in menopause. And what is that looking like?
As long as I...
Does it get better?
It does. It does. I recently lost a lot of weight, so that helped.
It looks amazing.
Thank you. But that was due to sickness. Nevertheless, I lost a lot of weight. Watching, for the most part, what I eat, how much I'm eating, and pray for me with my soda intake. I have one beverage of choice, and that brings it on. I
Really?
started, yes.
It brings
So what do you mean? What brings
the
yes,
hot. It brings about the hot flashes.
Okay.
So
Oh.
if I stay away from soda,
Mm-hmm.
and if I stay away from tea,
Okay.
Wow.
I'm good.
Really?
And so,
Any kind of tea or
any kind of tea.
so? What is it in the tea that you think causes the
The
hot flash?
caffeine.
Oh, it's a caffeine thing.
It's a
So that
caffeine.
means
Wow.
that would be coffee as well then.
Yes.
And see, I'm not a coffee drinker, so
The upside
Oh, no.
down caramel
Well, ma'am.
with oat milk at 152 degrees. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
So that's not your experience with caffeine.
I don't know what's going on.
So, okay, is it a time where do you get hot flashes?
I don't have hot flashes, and I attribute those, thank goodness, to something that I discovered called evening primrose.
Okay.
I do not have hot flashes. Every so often, I'll go, is it hot here? And I'm like, okay, do I need to go turn on the AC? But
Okay.
never one of those where I just want to completely take off everything. Like I've witnessed others. Like I won't call this person's name out, but I've seen someone very close to me ready to shed everything. And I've never experienced that. But I have been, from the moment I started realizing something was going on, I'm a reader. So I'm reading everything possible. And it was said that evening primrose could help with hot flashes. So before I even got one, when I knew something was happening, I started taking it. And I take it religiously
Okay.
every day, without fail. If I run out, I'm on Amazon or I'm in Target and I'm buying it. And so in that sense, I've never had a hot flash. But everything else that you could probably imagine, I have endured.
Really?
Yes.
And that helps. Okay, well, I
So
hope everybody heard that.
the evening primrose, and I even talked to recently. I had an appointment with. She's a nurse practitioner, but I discovered this new medical service called MIDI Health, and I'm not gonna go into it because the sponsorship better be.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's for middle-aged, seasoned women who are going through those different perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopausal stages. And as we were having our my first appointment, she was asking me, is there anything that you're taking, supplements going on? I said, evening primrose. And she said, that's a good one. And I said,
Okay.
and she's like, she suggested for those who could potentially, could take it, but talk to your physician or what have you. I said, I've been taking it. And I've suggested it to other women who are going through it, and they say it helps them. But yes, I don't want to. I'm looking at it happen to something. I'm like, I don't want to feel that. Like,
Right.
That's something else.
Yeah.
That,
Whole other beast all by itself.
Yes.
So you are in menopause, Chandra.
I am based on the doctors, I am perimenopausal.
Oh, you're peri. Okay.
So I was at 172 days because I had it in my phone countdown. I was celebrating. I was gonna throw a party.
Oh,
And it came back, and I don't know. I was over 6 months out.
Oh.
I was on a down slope. Yes, I think it was either June or July of this year would have made my 365 days, and in February it came back.
Oh, wow.
No, not February. Excuse me, January, because I have to go back and listen.
So meaning came back. Now you have to start over.
I had to start over from day one. When I tell you, I was absolutely crushed. You could pick me up off the floor. I thought somebody had died because I was ready. I was ready. Yeah, and I knew something was going on, but I just thought it was part of the process. I didn't think it was about to come back. I don't know if it was stress related. I lost my mother last year in September, and so I didn't know if it was related to that. But it didn't come back full force like the other ones had been prior. And so I was talking to my best friend about it because I was distraught. And she said, maybe this is your body prepping for the last one. I said, you told me that before. Like, stop telling me my body's prepping for the last one. I was ready for it to be gone. And so, yeah, we're back at day one.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So, Shatara, how long have you been in the menopause phase?
It's been about 2 years.
About 2 years. Yeah. And it's getting better.
Yes, it's getting better. Because I was on vacation. I had just gotten my hair braided. I mean, Fortune was about to go to New York, and we were just celebrating the end of the school year, the family being together before everybody disperses.
Yeah.
And all my skimpy clothes was too much. I was like, this I shouldn't have got my hair done, and I'm trying to pull it up and mess everything up, and and so everybody was looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, okay, well,
that's why it's called SHEpause, because nobody gets it.
No, and that's the thing. You crazy? It's just you. Maybe you need to. What's wrong with you? She just scared.
And Mom, did you need the fan on? Yes.
And you just wait your turn, sister.
Keep living.
Yes.
It's coming.
Keep living. Yeah.
Yes.
And the great thing about us in this day and time, we know about it now.
Yes.
So now we can prepare our daughters, which is going to lead into my next question. Did anyone talk to you when you were younger about menopause?
No.
Not at all.
The only thing I knew about was my mom had a hysterectomy. A couple of my aunts had hysterectomies. And so I knew that once you have a hysterectomy, you no longer have a cycle.
Okay.
That's as close as I got to menopause.
Right. Yeah. Chandra, you?
Nothing.
Nobody said anything?
Nobody said anything. I think, so my mother had dementia. I learned as I started talking to my sister who's younger than me, and then she started sharing with me the stories from my mother, because she was still at home at the time. Like when my mom was going through it, I had gone off, was living on my own, and so I wasn't there to witness the day to day. now that I'm going through it, I remember some of the things that she was going through, and remember literally talking about her. And I mean, not behind her back, like, what is wrong with you, And then my sister saying to me, that's when Mama was going through it. But I haven't had anybody to talk to here and there. Maybe, my best friend is older than me. So I've had some conversations with her, but I haven't had, unfortunately, I didn't have my mother available to me to have those conversations. I just learned that when you have a hysterectomy, that puts you, if you have a full hysterectomy, that puts you into menopause. It shocks your body into menopause.
Wow.
Well, I've had several people tell me, if you have bad cycles, you have fibroids, you should just have a hysterectomy. I'm not letting nobody cut on me unnecessarily. Because I feel like I'm going to get the doctor that's going through a divorce, and he's not going to be in his right frame of mind, and something's going to happen, and then I brought that on myself, as opposed to going through something that God gave us as women. And if this is a part of living longer and being blessed with longevity, then I'm not going to elect to have somebody cut on me because I'm inconvenienced. Now, is it a big inconvenience? It is. Now, if you tell me I have to have it because it's medically sound and I want to continue living, then I'm all for it. I'm not going to say that. But just to, if my body's still going to go through menopause, I might as well just deal with it. Because I've been dealing with it all these years. But yeah, I never had anyone to. So
Chandra, so when you say your sister was there and witnessed your mom going through menopause, at the time, did she know that was menopause, or she knows that today?
I think she knows that today. I don't know if she necessarily knew that was menopause that my mama was going through. I mean, because the low iron, I remember Mama having to take chewing ice, just chewing ice. Like every time we saw her, she had a cup of ice. And one day we're gonna find you in this house passed out with a cup of ice next to you, not understanding that the low iron was from the perimenopause or the menopause losing the blood. She would burp, and I used to find it so unpleasant as a female. I was like, why do you do it? And I'm whispering because I would do that. I'm like, why do you do that? That annoys me as a female. Why do you do that? Now realizing gastrointestinal issues start to happen. Now I'm burping and I'm like, oh my Lord, I'm gonna get something from Mama. And now this is me. Like so many the heavy cycles, my mom used to, if somebody had a baby, she was in the hospital getting the pads, when you have a, yeah, she was taking them out the hospital. If you was at the hospital having a baby, she was packing up the stuff. All those things, I'm like, what's wrong with her? You don't realize what another person is going through till you get to that stage in life. So all those things play back for me now, and I realized that's what was going on with her.
Yep.
And again, my cycle from 12 years old up until has been every 28 days. I am textbook.
Oh wow.
Then my doctors always said, you're boring. Thank you. But 28 days, 7 days, that's it. 28 days, 7 days, that's it. And now, then it all just, literally it was a roller coaster. Everything is a roller coaster. And when you don't have anybody to talk to, it is a very lonely place and sometimes scary place to be. Even though I have a village. Even though I have female friends, I mean, we just don't talk about it. You see the fans, and we laugh and joke about it. Everybody got fans now, but we don't really talk and share stories. The lack of the vitamin deficiencies that all of a sudden occur. That you never had. Like I take multivitamins. Why is my B12 low? Why is my iron low? The heavy cycles or the type of monthly cycle that you've never experienced a day in your life, and you think it's something. I thought I was pregnant one day. I was like, oh my God. Like, and or having to be careful because there's a oopsie. You hear people talk about these change of life babies, or somebody has a 30-year-old and a newborn.
Well, praise the Lord for whoever that is.
Exactly. But I'm saying those are instances that actually can happen, but we don't talk about them. And if we go to doctors that don't look like us, they don't talk to us about it, or they brush it off. I had a doctor call me a minimalist because I refused to take some medicine that she wanted to give me for my knee cracking and popping. And she was like, well, I'll just write you this. And I'm looking while she's talking, I'm Googling it. And I said, well, this says it causes strokes. And said, I have hypertension. So I'm already taking blood pressure medicine. And I said, well, you know what? Let me look and see what else, maybe look at some turmeric, some anti-inflammatories, black seed oil things, exercise, and get up and start moving, well, you can eat all the chicken curry you want in the world, but
Oh, wait a minute.
This was inside the doctor's office. And she's like, well, I know, you're just a minimalist. I ain't been back since. Let me
Put a pin there. Let me say this. What I know, if I don't know anything else, when we go to doctors and we share what our bodies are going through, if you do not feel comfortable in what they're saying, either get a second opinion or do the research for yourself. Because unfortunately, there are doctors out here that just want to prescribe something because they don't have enough knowledge about it, possibly, or they just want to give you whatever because they think that's what you need. No. Yeah. In your gut, if you don't have peace about it, sitting in the doctor's office, I've done it a couple of times. Okay, well, no thanks. I'll book another appointment. I'll come back, and I'm going home, and I'm going to do the research for myself because this is my body. That's your body. That's your body. That we're responsible for. Nobody's responsible for our bodies other than ourselves.
And we have to be our best self, our own best self.
We better.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Something that you just said a few minutes ago, Chandra, that came to my attention, and both of you ladies have men in your lives. It has been very interesting to share my experience with my husband. Men don't get it like we get it. And I don't know if it's because the way they were raised. Well, first of all, this is not familiar to us because we've already all acknowledged nobody ever talked to me about menopause. And so the men, let me not say the man in my life, I can't speak for y'all men, I can tell that he's kind of like, well, what? Well, how you not? Sir, this is my body, and I've done my research. He just gets concerned sometimes that when I start doing research, how do you know that where you're getting this information from is accurate? Okay, well, I've done enough research to know if I go on 5 different sites
and it's all saying
and it's saying the same thing, and I'm experiencing it, it's like gotta be some truth to that. Okay, I'm just saying. So with that being said, what is your husband thinking about some? Oh, look at that face. Some of the things you're experiencing.
Well, my husband works in the medical field. He doesn't.
I'm sure.
I mean, he's in imaging, but he's a little more sensitive than maybe somebody else.
Oh, that's good.
He still thinks maybe when I turn the fan on high, that it doesn't necessarily have to be on high.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, when he gets up to get his ice water in the middle of the night, he's making sure I got my ice water.
Oh, great.
But yeah, it's a lot of times that he jokes with the girls about me being extra.
Yeah.
Because either I need the fan on high, or the flip side is, oh, it's too cold. And everybody else feels comfortable. So
we're extra. Yeah, that's why it's called SHEpause. I'm telling you, men do not understand it. We're gonna get them together though. Don't worry about that. Sean,
I can say that I'm lucky that he understands it. So we're both in. This is not our first go round. Okay. So he's experienced, I think, in his latter life, in his last life, and so he's been quite understanding.
Oh, that's good.
And even said to me, I've been through this before. So I'm like, well, thank you, because I haven't. I don't know what to expect. And I mean, the weight gain, the mood swings, and I'm not a mood swing person. I never had mood swings. So this crying at the drop of a hat, and then I think I can take on the world, and then I go back to, it is, he's been very understanding. Oh, and I appreciate it because not once has he ever said, well, what's wrong with you, or you crazy, or you need to. Not once. Might have thought it, but never came out of his mouth. Right. And so I really, really, really appreciate it. But I think, again, past experience, I mean, he literally said to me, I've been through this before. I was like, maybe you can help me then.
Right. Maybe you can probably help me figure this thing out.
Because I think I'm comfortable enough where we have conversations about it. I talk about it. So I don't just keep it inside and hope that, he doesn't take it the wrong way, but I talk about it. I'm like, I'm trying this. Because for me, besides the up and down of the emotions, it's been the incredible weight gain that I just cannot seem to get rid of. And so I mean, the Ozempic, the this, trying this, the not breathing, and that don't work. And, you know, the eating and the exercising and lifting weights and doing it just to be able to control it. You know, he's been very, very, extremely understanding.
And that's helpful.
It is.
Yes.
It is. Because you really, sometimes you literally think, am I going crazy? What is wrong with me? The brain fog.
Oh, honey. Child.
At work and looking at somebody and going, oh, I can't remember their name. I talk to this person every day, they in my face every day. I'm going, and, you know, and then you thinking, and having a mother who had vascular dementia, you going, Lord, my kid.
Right.
You know, all that goes, and then you start to read things, and you hear all these other women talk about, the brain fog, and then you go, oh, Lord, thank you.
All right.
Oh, it ain't what I thought it was, because, you know, that's been the hardest for me, because I'm like this. I'm always, and then you look up, and I'm like, what's your name? And you sitting there, and they looking at you like you're not saying nothing, because you trying to, in your head, run through word association so you can remember stuff. Yeah, that's hard. That's
walk from one room to the next.
Oh, I
and
do
like,
that all the time.
what did I just come to this room
Yeah.
for? Wait
See,
a minute.
Yeah. I did that yesterday. I walked in the kitchen and was like, shit. Oh, I went back and I was like, maybe I remember. And when I got back in there, I remembered I had to walk back in there. Yes. Oh, yeah, it's,
Miss Shatara,
Yes, ma'am.
you have girls.
Yes.
I would assume, but let me not assume, based on what you've already said, you've already kind of started talking to them about this phase of all of our lives.
It's been very on the surface.
Okay.
You asked the question earlier.
Okay, wait a minute. How old is the oldest?
25.
Okay.
Well, she'll be
Okay.
25 this year.
Okay.
It's been very on the surface. A minute ago, you asked about if anybody talked to us. So my mom didn't really talk to me. I was a young adult when she went through it, but that was because she didn't have her mom to talk to.
Oh, wow.
Her mom had passed before I was ever a thought. And so just, you know, she knew something was going on. I knew something was going on and stayed away. And so, but fast forward, my girls bring up all sorts of stuff under the sun that I did not talk to my mama about. And matter of fact, my mama called me since I've been here. We talk every day. But with that being said, my girls are closer in proximity to me.
Okay.
And so they're having to help me, you know, check the temperature. Is the heat on? And it shouldn't be, you know, whatever the case is. And so we're just a little bit closer than I was with my mom when she was going through it. So we haven't had this conversation in detail. I told the girls I was coming today, and Kaylee Musk didn't hear me, and so she was like, what you doing the interview for? And I was like, well, okay, I'll talk to you later. But it's on the surface.
Okay.
And so the conversation definitely will be had because they're watching me. They're watching me. I chose not to watch my mom, you know, and as close as we are, and I was in her house, but I was still in school and just, you know, my own life that I was living. I was like, okay, she doing what she doing. She going through what she going through. I didn't understand it.
And
And
did she know it was menopause back then? Or do you know?
I don't know if she knew, but
Because I didn't really have a language for it.
no.
They call it change of life.
Yeah, change of life.
Yeah,
That's what they call
that's
it.
all I ever heard.
That's what they call it,
And
change
it's
of
so
life.
funny. Our youngest daughter
Mhm.
asked me a couple of years ago, Mama, are you going through menopause? And I said, no, girl, I don't have hot flashes. That's the only thing I associated it with.
That's what we associate the change of life with.
And I just thought
Yes.
I wasn't having hot flashes,
Yeah.
and it passed me by, Lord.
We didn't know. We didn't talk about all the other stuff. And they might not have honestly been, like you say, been aware of everything else because we thankfully have technology and the internet now. So
Yes.
we are
Mhm.
constantly,
Oh, of course.
we have just so much information at our hands right now that we can look up whatever we want, or there's conversations, there's all these different TV shows that wasn't available back then.
No.
Right.
And we lived, unfortunately, in secret.
Mm-hmm.
We just maneuvered through our day. Everything was fine. You didn't even talk about periods. And and things like that. So when that happened, change of life, like you said, it was a hot flash. It was a hot flash. And that's how a lot of these oopsie babies came, because you didn't even understand what was happening to your body to know how to protect yourself.
Right.
Right. So now we have more access to information, but it's still being comfortable enough to talk about it with others. Or I work in a male-dominated industry. Imagine sitting in a room full of men, or just your group, and you start fanning. And if I pull out the fan, I'm like this, and they just looking. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing, but they, or if I'm having a bad cycle.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call my manager and be like, hey, I just say I'm thankfully I'm blessed enough I can just call in and say I'm not coming in today, or I'm working from home. But there are so many other women who don't have that as a luxury.
Right.
And you're dealing with something, and nobody wants to pick up the phone and call and like, I'm having a migraine, it's related to menopause, I'm perimenopausal, and they don't understand it, nor do they want to have that discussion with you at work.
Yeah.
And so it is, we kind of,
it's very challenging. Yeah. Me and my husband was just talking just yesterday about, I don't know what it is. Well, first of all, everybody personality is not going to be the same. And I don't know what it is about, and I'm going to speak thus far on our culture because that's what I'm familiar with. Right. We just don't, as women, we just don't share a lot. I don't know if we're embarrassed, or do we think it's just me and nobody else is going through it, or whatever the case may be. But what I do know is, that's why I was like, I'm going to talk about it, because we need to talk about it. Because
I think we've evolved.
Yes.
Because each generation gets better. And so we're evolving. And so we're the next generation that's talking more. And then the hope and the prayer is the generation after us will do even more. And I think that's, we're evolving.
Yeah. And one thing that was very interesting to me when I did some research is, part of your doctorate degree, there's minimal hours in classroom hours talking about menopause. They don't even really talk about it. So if we go to the doctor and the doctor can't help us, well, that's because they don't really know nothing about it.
The doctor's in there Googling with us in the office. Let me tell you, the doctor's sitting with the last one.
Well, Chad, GP is like,
yes, and I could have did that and saved my copay if that's what we're doing. Yeah. I can do the same thing. The only thing you can do that I can is write a prescription.
Right.
But you think about now, Halle Berry recently talking about her experience and what she went through. And she said she woke up, she thought she had herpes. Everybody got to die. You what? And to find out that it was not an STD, that it was menopause that she was going through. And everybody's body is different. So think about that. Right. If you're having that kind of, who you gonna talk? You gonna call your girlfriend? Like, girl, that's not supposed to happen. Yeah. Husband, boyfriend, situationship, whatever. You're not calling nobody saying that. That's a potentially embarrassing, situation. How many of us are open enough and comfortable enough to say, I'm having some, and I think it's menopause, or the doctor thinks it's something else, but to have to be tested to find out that it's not. The first doctor told her she had herpes. The second doctor said, or something to that effect. Then she found out that it wasn't that at all. And I'm like,
which goes back to what I said. You need to do, if you don't feel comfortable in your gut, you need to do your research and figure it out. Because there are a lot of things that we can do on our own, natural things that we can do. Something I'm just now kind of trying to get together, because we lose a lot of estrogen when we go through menopause. And I'm like, they ready to put you on the hormonal pills. Well, I don't want that today. Okay, let me try to do my part first. Yes. And we're gonna see how this gonna go. And then, but I do know a lady who reached out to me after some post that I did about menopause, and she loved the pills. She said the pills 100 and changed her life.
Oprah said the same thing.
So, well, anyway, I'm not there today. And to each his own.
Exactly. Me neither. Me
I
neither.
don't want no pills.
No, I don't want no pills. And then they talk about the chance of, your percentage goes up for breast cancer.
Wow.
That stopped me in my tracks. Nope.
Yeah,
Not doing that.
pass.
Yeah. No. Mm-mm.
Wow. So, ladies, have either one of you talked to an elderly woman since you know more about menopause to hear what they have to say?
I have not.
You have not? Well, I did, because I have older clients.
Okay.
Y'all, I honestly don't know. They still not doing that much talking. And I'm thinking, I'm coming to you. I'm bringing it to you now. And I'm going to tell you something that's very intriguing to my mind. Myself, I know how I respond, how I've been responding since my body has been going through changes. Now, I don't know how you guys have been responding. However, with that being said, ladies, do you think that people think that your experience, you're looking crazy?
Oh, yes. I've been said, it's been said to me, you crazy.
Really?
Well, I mean, not by, I think it's about people in the comments in general when you're explaining what is going on or something that they've been watching you go through. Mm-hmm. You crazy. I hate that phrase. I really, not because I'm overly sensitive. It's just like, why don't you start to understand what a person is actually going through before you come with that blanket statement. And again, the other side to that is keep living.
Yeah.
Keep living. Because you have no idea what this is. We don't have an idea what it is when we're going through it. So to have, again, the emotional roller coaster, the mood swings, the body fluctuation, changes. It's a lot, and you're still trying to live. You still have a responsibility to a career, a responsibility to a family, a responsibility to yourself.
Right.
While you still trying to navigate utter confusion.
Yes. Okay, question. Have you thought about our mothers, grandmothers? How were they able to go through it without sharing it, without taking anything? Have y'all ever, I literally sit down and be thinking, how in the world, I know my mom, how do they do it? Because we're open, we're talking about it. They didn't talk about it, still don't talk about it. I just told y'all that, my experience. And how do they maneuver through it and they act like wasn't nothing wrong? So I'm gonna tell you what a man said to me, ladies. Well, y'all modern women, y'all a little weaker than the grandmamas. Wait, hold on, sir. No, we're more in tune to our bodies. And I think we take better care of our bodies once we figure out what's going on. So how do y'all think they maneuvered? How were they able to keep going every day and go to work and be acting like ain't nothing wrong with them? It's how did y'all do that, ladies?
Don't know, because back then self-care was considered selfish.
Yes.
Right.
So now self-care is promoted, and we have all these little self-care Sundays and all this other stuff. But back then, self-care was considered selfish. So I didn't, until you just asked that question, had not ever crossed my mind.
I'm telling you, I literally trying to think how did they get through? Was they on people? What was they doing?
I know my mom was on medicine.
Okay.
I know she went. I remember her having an issue with one medicine wasn't working and switching. So from there until I went through my own hot flashes, that was the only thing I knew about, because there was no conversation.
Right.
And then when I asked her, how long did you go through it? And she said, I don't know, probably about 5 years. And I'm like, okay.
You want to count down?
I'm on the countdown.
Now, ladies, I don't know if you guys have done any research behind this, but I've done a lot, because I'm like you. But this gonna end when?
What time?
What time?
Yeah, but you gotta know when it really starts, so you know when it ends. But hold on.
Hold on. Let me tell what I was gonna say. They said no end. Can it get better? Yes. But then you go into postmenopause.
Yes.
And okay, well, postmenopause means until the day we die.
But she said that's when you lose the weight. Weight to come out.
That's not what I said.
That gave me hope.
Help us, Shatara. Help us, Shatara.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got something to grasp on.
So with my weight loss, it was, I had, and Arnda knows this, I've always been comfortable with who I am, size, whatever, until one day I wasn't. And I was like, Lord, help me to make healthier choices. And I started losing a little bit, but I wasn't doing enough because then I was diagnosed with diabetes.
Okay.
So once I was on the diabetes medicine, I started losing a little bit more, but my numbers didn't look like what the doctor wanted them to look like. So then enter in Ozempic. Ozempic, along with praying and watching what I'm eating. I didn't say exercise, but watching what I'm eating, my food intake, my drink intake. I'm not much on alcohol. And so that was my weight loss. And I'm thankful that I started losing because I wasn't this size when I had my first hot flash. When we were on vacation, I was feeling myself. I had lost some. I needed to shop in order to go on vacation. But on vacation with the fan on high, I'm dripping sweat like I'm at an outside car wash or something. You know, and I was like, oh, this is not normal. And yes, I got the jokes about, oh, your mama in here losing her mind, and the girls laughing and whatever. And I didn't take offense to it because I'm like, what in the world is going on? I know I ain't crazy.
Right.
Like they joking, but something is happening.
Yeah.
And that was my introduction to it.
Okay.
That was my introduction to it. And so you talk about the weight loss. Well, I've been at a standstill. I've got a goal. I noticed that when I drink my Mr. Pibb, because that's my drink of choice, but the school day not going the way I think it should, I'll pop it open. And if I go a whole week, then I see my weight go up. So then I'm like, okay, let me get back to my water. I know I can't drink tea.
You know that maybe
the tea, because I love me some Sonic sweet tea with lemon, or sweet tea and lemonade. I can't do the tea.
I probably have to stop the coffee because I'm a coffee drinker, and I have rationalized in my mind, y'all gonna laugh at me, that as long as I stay away from white sugar and give me some more organic cane sugar, that it helps it. I don't eat white sugar. I mean, intentionally, like I don't put it in as an additive into things, but it's not. I was on Ozempic, and then I stopped because I hit a point where I wasn't losing any weight anymore, and then the moment I stopped, then even more weight came on, and I'm like, like I refuse to go buy any clothes because I'm like, I can't accept this. I can't accept this, and right now I'm in the midst of trying to switch over, getting the insurance to approve Mounjaro. But I used to be able to I could go out, jog, get on the treadmill, get on the stairmaster, and the weight will come off with no problem. And now it's not like that. And I think for me, that's the hardest thing, is because I can't get this weight under control. And it's not like I'm doing anything unusual or anything outside my norm. I don't drink heavily. I sociably, we go out to eat, or I might have a glass of wine, but that's not even every week. That might be once a month. I do like to eat. I like mostly seafood, but I'm a snacker. I love chips. I love guacamole. I will eat an avocado by itself. There are certain things, and I found that the cravings, like I didn't have to eat. I could eat once a day and be fine, but now I'm like, I'm getting up. What do I want for breakfast? But I found that my appetite and my cravings have gone from sweet stuff to savory.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really a sweet eater as much, but you put some savory food in front of me, or some eggs and anything with some chili pepper flakes in it, and I'm there. But I can't get this weight off. I cannot, and that's the hardest thing for me.
Okay, did you talk to the doctor about that? Because a lot of that could be, like I said, we lose bone mass when we're going through menopause. We also, like the estrogen, and that's your hormones. So a lot of what you're experiencing probably is part of menopause.
It is. It all is.
Like your metabolism.
The metabolism has just come to a complete halt. Like we ain't moving, we ain't doing. So I say the weight is like a stalker. It then came and it refuses to leave. Like, please go somewhere, find somebody else to bother. But so that's when the Moderno. She said I might have better results with that on a longer term basis than just the Ozempic. Because like I said, initially, and let me not say Ozempic. Let me say this: I was going to a weight loss clinic, and they were it was coming from a compounding pharmacy. So it was semaglutide, GLP-1. So it wasn't necessarily Ozempic in that sense, but as the dosages were increasing every month, the weight just stopped coming off. So I was like, for what I was spending, this is not financially feasible on a long-term basis, and I'm losing 1 pound now instead of the 6 or 7 pounds that I was losing a month initially. So that's when I completely stopped that. And so she said, this might work this way, but I have had to introduce weights into my exercise regimen. That just walking is not doing it. Just walking. So when you say bone mass, muscle mass, all those things that I never had to worry about before, because my estrogen levels have dropped so much that my metabolism is everything. When I went to my physical, the doctor's like, well, your B12's low, your iron's low. And I'm like, wait a minute, ma'am, I take multivitamins every day. Like, how is this? And she was like, this is just a part of it.
Wow. So, have either one of you experienced increased levels of anxiety? Okay, so that's everybody. Not everybody, but us three for sure. So how do you manage that?
Breathing and prayer. I've started meditating in prayer. A lot of them like, God, Father God, it's me, Kiki. You know this is not who I am. Can you please just kind of help me through it, guide me? Help me. That's a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
A lot of prayer.
How often do you think you have that experience?
Mine, I could probably tell you started in about 2019. And the reason why I can pinpoint it that well is because I've never been an overly emotional person. I don't cry when I see movies. I don't get paranoid about certain things. And all of a sudden, everything started scaring me. I started questioning myself. I started questioning my abilities. I started questioning, again, that whole imposter syndrome, whether I belonged there. That kind of stuff never bothered me. If I was there, God put me there. I'm supposed to be here. All of a sudden, questioning everything. Worried about everything. Well, I didn't worry about stuff before because God provided last time. He gonna provide this time.
Right.
I never did. And I've always had a village. Mama, daddy, uncles, grandparents, sister. I've always had a village. And even with that village, still all over in my head everywhere.
Wow.
For me, it's recognizing what I can control. If I can't control it, then Jesus fix it.
Yeah.
If I can control it, Jesus fix me. And it's been constant prayer, like she said. If I'm not praying about it, my anxiety is up there.
Lord Jesus. Ooh, help us. Because that's a big one for me. I'm like, that's not me.
Yes.
I'm like, oh no, I don't operate like this. Like,
and then you question little things that you're like, am I just getting old and things bother me or frighten me that never bothered or frightened me before?
Yeah.
You question yourself about a lot. You're in your head a lot. You're in your head a lot.
Way too much.
Yes.
And my husband, he just be like, you gotta stop that. And I was like, I'm doing the very best I can.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I mean, this level of anxiety for me, it's been very challenging. Because my thoughts can get so crazy. And the thing that definitely keeps me outside of, my prayer life and just being in the presence of God. And I have scriptures, me and Chandra talked about it. I have scriptures that I say every single day, like clockwork. Psalms 91, ladies. I'm going to say you every night before I go to bed.
That's a good one. Okay.
Because I have to. And I mean, I can literally wake up in the middle of the night to go use the bathroom, and baby, thoughts is crazy. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? I'm so ready to get all the way over that. Because I'm like, this don't even feel like me. Okay, so ladies, last but not least, last question. Is there anything that you think that you've experienced, good or bad, that you think will help another woman who's watching this?
I can't think of anything. I would just encourage whoever's watching to understand that you have to pay attention to your body, and you have to understand that your journey is your journey.
Yeah.
The three of us sitting here, we've had different experiences with the same outcome, if you will.
Yeah.
So your journey is your journey. Pay attention to how you used to be, how you once were, and pay attention to what's happening now.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Like, we gotta get out of that.
Yes.
I don't know,
very important. Yes.
Culturally, I think I know where it came from. However, we're not gonna talk about that today. Like you said, that's a whole nother discussion for a later time. But we gotta be vulnerable. Speaking of being vulnerable, before you add, do you have a community that you feel comfortable like sharing stuff with outside of your norm? Girlfriends, church friends, somebody friend.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
But even in that community, there hasn't been much discussion. In my community, outside of my mom, my sister is younger than I am.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have that conversation with her because we don't speak often. We text every day, but she knew I was coming today. I'm gonna have that conversation with her. Hey, you need to be on the lookout. Outside of my mom, I think I have spoken to maybe a cousin.
Okay.
Briefly, vaguely, and a church member.
Okay.
A little more detailed, but still very, very vague.
Okay. Put a pin there. Let me say this. It is my hope that churches even open up this topic. Because now remember in Titus, the elders,
you are so right.
They're supposed to be, this is part of
the seasoned ministry. Yes.
That part. However, we're kind of getting there, right?
Yes.
And so it is my hope that churches will add this. I say it could be a whole ministry, let me tell you.
Yeah, because there'll be a constant flow in and out. There will be a constant flow in.
It ain't going nowhere.
No, it's not.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we need safe places, such as the church. And right now, I'm not a member of a church because I will bring it to a church. Honey, as soon as I join a church, I'm going to be like, have y'all thought about? Because we need to talk about this.
Yes.
Uncomfortable conversations.
Yes. Yeah. And so, keep that in mind. Okay, go ahead, Chandra.
Now, you had a moment. What was the question again?
The question was, is there anything that you want to add that will help another woman, maybe encourage another woman that's going through it or whatever?
Don't go at it alone. And we all understand that our bodies, it's our individual bodies, but find somebody to talk to. Whether it's via text, whether it's a friend, whether it's a mother, whether it's a coworker, find a safe space.
Yes.
Again, I always go back to I have a village. I am blessed to have a village. I don't have an elder per se to talk to, but I do have friends that I can speak to, talk to about it. Don't go at it alone if you do not have to, because like you said, being in your head, it's a lot. But if you have an outlet, that's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's absolutely wonderful. Ladies, this is going to be the end of this. We might have to do this again. Y'all
Yes,
think?
I think we should have a follow-up.
Follow-up. Okay,
I think
sister.
we should have a follow-up.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's a journey. It's
It
not
is,
a one
that's
stop.
right.
It's
You're
not
so
a
right.
one stop. Where are we? Where are you now? Where am I now? Where are you now? Where are we in 3 months?
Maybe we
6
learned
months?
something different.
Exactly. Yes.
Mhm.
Maybe we've tried something different, and hey, it worked. It didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what are you doing now? What am I doing now?
Right.
You know, yeah, all those different things.
Okay, love it.
So,
Because she
love it.
mentioned, I forgot the name. See,
yeah.
Evening, morning.
Evening primrose.
Oh.
evening,
I'm done.
Evening, morning. No, not evening, morning.
Evening primrose.
evening primrose.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have not tried that.
Okay.
Now,
Target, Amazon, CVS, Walgreens, everybody.
on my way home.
Yes. Yes. Evening primrose.
know.
When I tell you religiously, it's there right there with the blood pressure medicine. Yes.
Okay.
Love
So
it.
I'm gonna try that,
Mm-hmm.
and it might be a conversation piece
Mm-hmm.
of how my body's reacting to it.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right. Good or bad?
Good or
Good or
bad.
bad. Yes.
Yeah, people need to know.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all make sure your little shirts stay fresh and pink, okay,
Okay.
for the next go round.
Okay.
We're not changing this. So again, ladies, I really appreciate it. And so let me just tell you, Miss Shatara, I know from a former church, and she was my client. Her and her girls was my client for years. And what's so funny, remember, was it last year? I came across some pictures of her girl, one of her daughters, when she
Yeah.
was little, and I had did her hair, and now she in college. And I had to see that picture to Shatara. I was like,
graduate.
to see what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've been knowing Shatara forever. And Chandra is my cousin. And so again, ladies, I thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for
A bunch of
having
women
us.
need to see this.
Thank you for
hear
inviting
this.
me. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And thank
this
you,
was
ladies,
wonderful.
for coming.
This was wonderful.
Because you didn't have to. And I never take that for granted in people. And y'all just came to me. And I said, well, let me see. Let me try.
Yes, because your text.
Because I don't
message
even
was
know
very-
if you ladies were in menopause, and I just was like, okay, they came to me, and I reached out, and here we go.
I'm laughing because your text was. Can I ask you a question? I'm like, what? What question could you ask me that I'm not gonna answer? How old are you? I'm like, girl, on the by. So her grandmother and my grandmother are sisters.
Okay.
So we're second cousins. Her mother, my mother, first cousin. We grew up
Yeah.
around each
Yeah.
other. We are family. So how old is, can I ask you? Bye. All you had to do was say, how old are you?
So women, that's another
Yeah.
secret.
Yes.
But we know
It's never been the secret for me.
we kind of
No.
know the lineup
Oh, yeah.
of where who's the oldest. Now we might not know what year or somebody was born, but we know who's the oldest, who's next, da 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 da. We know how we are down the line. But it was just it was like, I'm sure you could have figured it out some way, but I don't mind telling people how old I am.
Yeah.
I'm not shamed, at all to be 53 because I want to be 54, I want to be 64, 74,
Right.
84.
Right.
And we don't crack, so,
That part.
Right. What I did not share is I'm 54. I've been in menopause. I didn't know this until last year, but I've been in menopause for like between 3 and 4 years. I have 2 daughters. One is 29, one is 35. I have 2 grandbabies. Yay! Him is 15, and she will be 2 at the end of this month. And me have a husband, and me, we've been married 34 years. It'll be 35 in May. So that's mine. And then I'm gonna do one where I can talk more about my real experience, because I didn't want today to be about me. I wanted it to be about somebody else's experience. And so again, thank you, ladies, and stay tuned we'll be back to talk about this at another time. Bye bye.